My dad felt my savings should go to my brother. So this happened a couple of years ago, but it still just hurts. My dad and I have never really seen eye to eye. He grew up with no sisters and an awful mother figure, and none of his friends have daughters, only sons. I don't blame him for struggling to raise a girl when he had absolutely no reference point, but he didn't need to show blatant favoritism towards my brother. I've always been the black sheep a little. My parents and younger brother have always been this nice little trio. My brother is a mummy's boy, but dad dotes on him regardless. He's 4 years younger than me. I'm 18, he's 14. I've struggled to find my place in the family. Even my standing as which sibling I am isn't certain because my dad accidentally impregnated a girl at 19, had my half-brother, and I was born 14 years later. My older brother was enough in my life that I don't feel like the oldest child, but not enough to feel like the middle. I'm just dad's retrial at parenting, and my brother is the beneficiary of all his practice. Now, aside from that little rant, the actual story. My brother and I are very musical. I play a multitude of instruments. He just plays saxophone, and he's good, always has been. He suffered classic younger sibling syndrome. We were in a much better financial position when I began playing clarinet that I got a really good beginner intermediate model that I still play today. When he started about 4 years later, things had gotten tight, so he had to rent his from the local concert band, and it wasn't great. Originally it was fine because my parents didn't want to invest in something he might not commit to, but he did and loved it. At this point I was 15, and I'd been working for 2 years at a local sports club, earning less than minimum wage because I was underage, working my butt off and saving a pretty hefty percentage of my income. My father, who felt responsible for my job since he knew the owner but I'd actually gotten the job myself, decided he was entitled to my savings, about $500 at the time. His exact words were, "We could use your savings to buy your brother a better saxophone." God, it crushed me. First of all, you cannot get a sax better than the one he has for only $500. Secondly, what kind of father asks one child to give up practically 2 years of work for another? It made me feel like he had more pride or hope for his son that his daughter's savings should contribute towards it, even though at the time I was saving for a student-level clarinet and he knew that. He never offered to pay the money back or anything, and thankfully, after I asked Mom what she thought of it and she lost her mind, it was never brought up again, though he has asked for my savings since then and I have said no. Can't wait to move out next year. Edit. So I should make a couple of things clear. My father didn't actually take the money. Mom shut that situation down real quick, but it didn't stop him from asking and trying to manipulate me into giving them up for a long time. I live in New Zealand, and my accounts have been in my name since I was 13. My parents have just as much right to them as the stranger across the street. Absolute zero. Credit isn't really a thing here, so that's not an issue either.